Good day, everyone. My name is Elijah A. Sabadu. I am here to read my argumentative essay entitled Imprisonment for Fake News Barriers in Social Media. Social media, including sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and many social media platforms, are used to express point of views, personal thoughts, and sharing of information. In fact, it is impossible to just relax or watch a favorite movie in homes without knowing updates around the world. People can talk to a friend or read their favorite book and at the same time obtain information happening around the globe. Information is accessible with just a touch from mobile phones with the help of the internet. However, it is important to realize that the easy access of information allows everyone to share or post information that are not true and may detrimental to the masses. The spread of fake news is rampant in social media where it allows everyone to share information promptly and let the masses read its content without merely contemplating its effect. Suffice it to say, the power of social media is inevitable and the spread of fake news is prevalent where mental health and people's safety are at stake. Thus, the Philippine government must be subjecting the potential violators for imprisonment if they will be proven guilty of spreading fake news in social media. To counter the claim on the implementation, first, social media is one of the platforms for expressing freedom of expression, of speech, and the press. The Constitution in Article 3, Section 4 expressly prohibits any law that abridges the said rights. Basically, social media allows everybody of their freedom to express. People can express their feelings and emotions toward a certain issue and let the world or a friend recognizes it in accordance to their own choices. So, they might share untrue or disturbing information to some extent, but as part of their expression, readers should not take that information seriously or badly. After all, that is an individual's right to adequately express according to their personal choice. To make things clear, imposing imprisonment because of that action as a way of expressing oneself is clearly violating everybody's right of their freedom to express. While Article 3, Section 4 provides an array of rights to express oneself, it is a general law that is subject to exceptions. Jurisprudence and other law dictate that freedom shall not be used to abuse one's right. Though posting or sharing information through social media is a product of expression, individuals should be aware that their freedom to express does not allow them to harm or cause affliction to anybody. In fact, freedom to express is a right, but that right does not allow us to put others at stake. Well, stating right claims do not conform to be accepted as a strong argument. These arguments seek to beg questions that demand further explanation as to why the prerogative to express should be tolerated when it could harm others. Social media users should be careful on sharing sensible information to prevent a detrimental effect to the masses. That is to say, through subjecting imprisonment to those violators, social media users will do their efforts in upholding truthful information. The implementation is beneficial to avoid chaos and panic to the masses, which is in accordance to their freedom to express, but with certain limitations. Second counter, information in social media is facile to retrieve. It is possible to encounter misinformation based on the reader's comprehension. The government should consider that there is a limit in persons' level of comprehension. As individuals' way to express what they understand, it is feasible to share or post false news. The government should not blame one's comprehension skill or inadequacy in reading. It is always up to the readers to think critically if the news or information is true or correct. If they think certain information come from a not reliable source, they should look for those sources where they can find satisfaction of truthful information. Clearly speaking, as readers, they are always accountable to search, verify, and not rely to others' point of view. While the level of comprehension is something to be considered, the receiver of information who attempts to share their thoughts on what they have read must be must still be responsible for spreading the correct news. In fact, it is unmindful to think that posting sensible materials carelessly would not cause chaos since readers are accountable to think critically and find for the correct sources according to their choice. Well, how are we sure that the majority would think that way? Given that no one are critical when it comes to information gathering. That is to say, contents that involve the masses' concerns must be posted with reliable sources to avoid misinformation and misunderstanding. If a person is not capable enough or find the process hassle, they may not take the action in sharing sensible information. Anyway, there are institutions that are accountable in spreading sensible news where the information are gathered and evaluated first by editors before spreading it. In a clear view, if social media practitioners do certain evaluations first before broadcasting the news to the people, then why allow those who are not aware of social media ethics to just simply spread news that might generate tension and aggravate to the problem? Clearly, the implementation will be imposed to put consciousness to the social media users in posting and sharing sensitive content that may affect one's mental health, most especially in trying times. In this manner, putting consciousness to the posts will foster social media ethics to make contents credible and safe from adding and subtracting information. Third counter. Information is transferred from one device to another or from one account. It is impossible to trace who is liable in spreading false news that created tension and panic to the public, knowing how technology works nowadays. Moreover, there are a lot of fake accounts in social media where the users are also literate to hide themselves to prevent them from any offense. Given these points, it could be asserted that the implementation is a waste of time, money, and effort to the government. In like manner, if the Philippines will pursue the said implementation, it will be hard and unattainable for the violators to be subjected of their offense. It is still better to let the readers or receivers to search and identify if the information they will get from social media is true and correct. Although this may be true that tracing the offenders will be the problem, the Philippine government must still need to take action to diminish the spread of fake news. Proper guidelines and communion of the Philippine government with the companies of social networking sites as well as to those advanced and developing countries will help them solve the problem. Though those actions will take time to progress, the government could take prompt and practical actions where those violators will be subjected accordingly. Those who actually posted a status in their accounts and those who have first spread fake news shall be focused. Second-hand receivers and sharers shall be given less liability. Therefore, implementing imprisonment to those fake news bearers will give way in modifying social media system to help legislative to correspond to the immediate and second-hand violators. Indeed, the use of social media has clearly given us many benefits, especially in terms of communication system. Social media let us communicate from one place to another and let us express thoughts, point of views, and feelings where we find comfort whenever we feel bored or distressed. However, we should not take that subjectivity in consideration to let the welfare of everybody to be compromised. We must be proactive of our decision and contemplate before posting a certain content to at least do our job as social media users in impeding the spread of fake news or misinformation. Although misinformation cannot be totally eradicated, as there are people who perceive information depending on their beliefs, a regulation which is implemented, enforced, and monitored shall alleviate the chaos and panic among the populace. In difficult times, fake news is the least that we need. We have to continually protect our mental health as it significantly affects our whole being.